There is a fairly predictable path that most entrepreneurs take when they begin the process of starting their online business, and then that online business grows, and then over time they leave their 9 to 5 and they go all in with it. But it's really helpful to have a path, to know what journey you're gonna go down when you start this process. So in this video, I wanna give you the 3 stages of an entrepreneur, and particularly the 3 stages of your online business. And what this is gonna help you do is it's gonna help you identify what stage you're currently in and what it's gonna take to get to the next stage. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have a good grasp of where you are and hopefully what the next step is and where you want to be down the road. If you're new here, my name's Lane. This is my channel. I help digital entrepreneurs create and grow online businesses around your experiences, your passions, your knowledge, and your expertise. If you want to know how to build that kind of business, go to lanesebring.com/supersimple. Pick up my free, super simple guide to your first $500 online. In this guide, which is free, like I mentioned, I am going to show you the exact steps that I took to create a 6-figure passive income style online business. So go to lanesebring.com/supersimple for that. Okay, so the 3 stages of online business and entrepreneur. The first stage is the side hustle. This is when you have a thing that you're working on the side. Maybe you start your YouTube channel while you still have your 9 to 5. Maybe you start a podcast. Maybe you go ahead and grab the super simple guide and you're working on those steps. But while you're doing this, you actually have a job that you're going to every day. And this is really where almost everybody begins, unless you have like independent wealth and you're lucky enough to just have a massive nest egg and whatever it is. Maybe it's not luck, maybe you worked really hard and you can go out on your own. But most people, when they do online business, it starts as something that they're doing on the side. And that's one of the absolute massive benefits of online business, that you don't have to quit your day job to get started with this. I have a whole video about this on this channel about how online business and starting an online business is not risky. And it's not risky mostly because it doesn't require your entire life to get started. You don't have to borrow money, you don't have to quit your job. So you can start this as a side hustle. This is actually what I did, and it existed this way for a few years, and really it existed this way towards the end for about a 1.5 years, where very intensely and very intentionally, I was working on this as a complete side hustle. I built an entire online course using the morning hours before I would go to work, launched that course to my list. I actually wrote a couple books a few years ago before this was really something that I took seriously as a business. I just wrote books as a hobby, as a part of my brand called Preaching Donkey. And I did it all on the side. And I guess the point that I'm making is that one benefit of online business is that it can exist as a side hustle. And some people see this as nothing more than a side hustle, which is totally fine. I mean, if you want to make a couple $1,000s a month extra on the side just to support your lifestyle while still maintaining your 9 to 5 job, this is the perfect type of business to do that. And I'm actually a massive proponent of essentially everybody taking the approach of having something on the side, earning them income, where they're building assets, digital assets, courses, materials, books, maybe your membership site, affiliate programs, any kind of thing where you're making content and it's creating value such that it's earning money passively. So when I say passive, what I mean is it's disproportionate to the work that you put in. It's a fixed amount of work, disproportionate results. So that fixed amount of work, the video that you made, the course that you made, the book that you wrote, the program that you built, that's a fixed amount of work, and yet it can grow over time in terms of how many people can buy it and the amount of money that it makes you. You can do that on the side and it can work very well. Now, the next stage is going to be what's called the solopreneur stage. And this is where it's no longer a side hustle, but now you leave your 9 to 5 and you go full blown into your online business full time. So what does it take to get from side hustle to solopreneur? Let's say that right now it's a side hustle, you still have your job, and you're thinking, when do I let go of this branch that I feel very safe holding on to, my 9 to 5 job, and let go of it and go into the world of the somewhat unknown, the solopreneur world, where it's a one-person business and it's just me, but it's all I have. I don't have a job to hold on to. Well, this looks different for everybody, and there's a couple of things that I think are helpful to consider. One is pretty simple, like how much money is your online business making? And is it making enough money to where you could let go of your 9 to 5 and it would be making enough to live on? And that can easily happen, not necessarily easily, but simply. This is simple work. It's not easy work, but it's simple. In other words, there is a clear path to get from starting your side hustle to getting it to replace your income. But as long as it's a side hustle and you still have your 9 to 5, depending on how demanding that 9 to 5 job is, it can take longer to get your side hustle to work for you. And it can take longer for your side hustle income to overtake your 9 to 5 income. So there's lots of variables, and this is different for everybody. But what I would say is you want to look at how much money the side hustle is making, how much money it could make if you had more time to put into it, and then how much money you have in savings to get you through to make the difference. So I'll explain how this worked for me. My side hustle, which was this business that you're interacting with right now, my personal brand, where I help people start and grow online businesses, and Preaching Donkey, which is the website and set of resources, podcast, YouTube channel, books that I have for pastors to help them communicate better. Those two things together were my side hustle. This brand had barely gotten started. I literally started this in early 2020, and then I went full time in June of 2020. So this brand had just started. I didn't have any products, and this brand really wasn't making any money yet. I was just making content at that time. So really I just had Preaching Donkey, and at the time it was making $1,800 a month. And to put that in perspective, $1,800 with a family of 6, and I'm the sole income provider, $1,800 a month is just nowhere near enough to live on. But what I realized is that if I had full-time focus to both grow Preaching Donkey and this personal brand, then I could turn that $1,800 a month into $3,500, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, and beyond pretty quickly. And that's actually what happened. I left my 9 to 5 job, left the world of the side hustle in June of 2020, went full time with it, making $1,800 a month, and almost overnight that $1,800 turned into $35. And the reason why it turned into 35 is I was able to take on coaching clients, because now I had all this time when I normally was going to work. Now I'm free, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take on coaching clients. So for this business, I immediately took on people to coach them. Well, all of a sudden, I'm making a couple $1,000s more a month than I'm used to. So that got me kind of through a little bit. And then I was able to say, okay, let's figure out another course I can launch. And I did that. And then I started promoting affiliate products pretty heavily. And all of a sudden, that $3,500 turned into $10,000 and then beyond. So it quickly took over what I was making, but I just needed the time, and I needed the focus, and I needed to have a clear path and plan. Now, I will say, even though the business was making $1,800 when I went out on my own, I had a lot in savings, just because we had saved over time and we knew this moment was coming at some point. So we had enough money basically to get us through a year. With what I was making and what we had in savings, we had about a year runway. That was the situation for me. Now, for you, it may be different. Everybody has a different situation. I would not suggest just jumping off into your solopreneur status and leaving your 9 to 5 until you are ready, until you're financially ready and it's gonna work for you. There's no shame in keeping that 9 to 5 job another year and working really hard in the mornings, at night, on the weekends, whatever you got to do to build that side thing up so that when you leave your 9 to 5, you're ready. There's nothing more scary than leaving a secure paycheck, jumping into something and realizing I didn't plan this well. So I'm gonna help you plan. This channel is gonna help you plan. My products and coaching and courses are gonna help you plan. But at the end of the day, you gotta be wise about making that leap. That said, the amount of money that you actually have to make in order to go out on your own is probably less than you think. For me, I know it was. I thought, okay, I gotta be making $10,000 or $12,000 a month before I can go out on my own. And I did it at $1,800. So it was way less. Now, if it hadn't grown, we wouldn't be talking right now because I'd be at work. So it worked out for me. I didn't have to go get a job. The businesses grew and I'm living my best life now. But I had money in the bank and a plan. Make sure you've got a plan. A little bit of money in the bank doesn't hurt. And you do it when the time is right. And if you want to know kind of what that might look like for you, or if you're thinking about it, but you just don't know, leave me a comment and we can talk about it. So once you go from side hustle to solopreneur, what solopreneur looks like is it's where you no longer have the 9-to-5 job. So you're kind of relieved of that burden, but you are completely on your own because at this point, you don't really have money to hire anybody yet. You don't have money for a virtual assistant, for editors, for social media person, whatever the case. It's just you. And actually, this is okay. It's necessary and natural at first to basically do everything. And what this teaches you is it teaches you what it takes to run your business. You actually learn how to edit everything, how to make your social media stuff work, how to build your sales funnels, how to build your email marketing campaigns, how to do a content plan. Everything is on you. And what happens is you kind of become expert, or at least proficient at all the tasks that are required to make your business run. And then you get to decide when the time is right, how to hand these things off and who to hand them to. So that solopreneur phase can be an incredible time of learning and growing. You also get to discover what you like to do and what you hate doing. So for me, I discovered pretty quickly, there's just a few things I hate doing and they bog down my time. And so my first hire was my virtual assistant. Now, once you hire somebody, you go into the world of business owner. This is kind of a fun situation because we went from side hustle, where it's like a glorified hobby, a hobby that's intentional and purposeful, and we're growing it, building an income, and that's awesome. But it's a hobby and it can exist as a hobby because we have a job. To solopreneur, where now all of a sudden we don't have a job, this is not a hobby, this is our life. If we don't make it work, we starve. So I always tell people when I left my job, I became very passionate about not starving to death. So, when you're a solopreneur, your one task in life during that period of time is find out how to make money and do it so that your business grows and you stay in business and you don't have to go back to prison of a day job. So that's the goal at the solopreneur phase. Once you get to the point where you can hire a virtual assistant, social media person, editor, marketing person, whatever, now you're a business owner because now you are not doing all the things. You have a team, and even if it's a part-time team and a virtual team and a remote team, it's still a team. And now you are not doing it all. You own a business. Now it gets really fun. You get to start making systems. You get to start building things that are going to work for you and equipping people with a way of doing things that you want done, and eventually they're gonna do it better than you ever could with a little bit of direction from you. And now your time is even more freed up to grow the business, hire more people if you decide to, and go from there. So let's say that you're in solopreneur phase and you want to know, what does it look like to go to business owner phase? When am I ready for that? Well, for me, it really came down to, am I making enough to where I can support my family fully and have enough money to pay a virtual assistant included in that? Now, here's the cool thing about virtual assistants. You don't have to hire a $70,000 a year, 40-hour a week full-time employee. That's not what I'm talking about. You can find virtual assistants that will do 5 hours a week of work for you at $15 an hour, $20 an hour, and it can take a ton of work off your plate. A really efficient virtual assistant that you give certain tasks to free up, let's say they do 5 hours a week of work for you, it actually feels like you're getting 30 hours of your week back because they're doing it so much more efficiently than you would. At least this was the case for me. My virtual assistant does all of my email distributions. She posts to my website. She does social media. She does the things that are just the tasks of my work that become like time consuming, and they're tedious, they take a lot of time, and they bog me down where I'm not actually able to create content, work directly with clients, and do the things that only I can do to grow the business. Well, as soon as I could hand that off, I did, and it only cost me a few $100s a month. And if you think about that, if your business is making 5, 6, 7,000, and you can do with parting with 500 of that to pay an assistant, you can grow much faster. And that's what happened for me. I was making 4, 5, 6,000 a month, hired her, and the business just grew and very quickly doubled that and almost tripled that to where it's more efficient and more cost effective to have someone that I'm paying to do those things so that I can make more money. The second hire that I did was an editor, where I can pay someone to edit my videos, because this type of work, editing, takes a long time, especially if you're like me, where editing is not your thing. I'm not a professional editor. I'm not even that good, but I've had to edit because it's just the way it is. If I wanted videos to be out there, no one was going to do it for me. Well, I can hand those off, and I'm handing them off. And what happens is that over time, I replace the time that I would have spent editing with things that, again, grow the business, and things that are only things that I can do and that I can contribute to the business. So what happens is more growth, less of me doing all the work, and more the business growing because of the systems that I've put in place and the people that I've put in place to run those systems. So those are the 3 levels. We've got side hustle, we've got solopreneur, and then we got business owner. Now, depending on where you are on this trajectory, if you are working towards the next step and you want to know how to get to that next step, comment below. Tell me what your biggest challenge is right now in your online business. I'll read through the comments. I'll make a video about the ones that I feel like I can help with. So do that below, and check out the super simple guide, lanesebring.com/supersimple, and click on this video right here where we'll talk more about this topic in this video, and we'll go even deeper with it. So click right there, and I'll see you in that video.